first, thank you for taking the time this morning to chat with us. And I wanted to congratulate you on the upcoming release of your EP, Live from the Quarry. Can you share when you first had the vision for this project?
Yes, and thank you for the congratulations. I really appreciate that. I think with any creative project, it tends to have a stop-starty kind of initial beginning, and I really wrote these songs for myself, and that sounds super selfish, but I'm just gonna say it. I had zero intention of sharing this music with anyone beyond my husband and maybe like my parents. I really went into writing these songs kind of as therapy, just to work through some heartbreak and some hurt and some pain. And I had never written or produced by myself. And so it was a very new, my husband packed my car while I was heading up to a cabin in the woods to go write. He packed my car with like my computer and my MIDI keyboard and my mic, and recorded a tutorial on how to set it all up, and basically said, don't just bring your guitar and voice memo things, like go produce demos. You can do this. Like my favorite producer and mentor, Matt Hales, called and was like, you're a producer, you know what you hear. My manager was like, you can do this, and then all these amazing guys in my life kind of came around me, encouraged me. And then when I finished writing the songs, and again, they were never like, this is for other people, like this was just for me. And then when I finished the songs, I had more people around me, my mentors, my friends, my family, come around me and say, these songs need to be shared with other people, because there are hurts in here that other people can relate to, and this can help bring healing. And so through much coercing, I got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm comfortable sharing this, but I think because of the past 18 months that we've all just walked through, I don't just want to like deliver an audio clip and be done with it. Like I want to create a live experience, and I want it to feel like we're all in it together, because I think there are certain things that you can communicate through the visual medium and through your body and through your movements that you can't necessarily express with just the song on its own. So I'm really glad that everyone's first introduction to this music and my initial reconnect with, my audience in this space has been through a visual medium.
Absolutely. So you mentioned you wrote, you produced, you're working, on these other ways to show the message you're trying to portray. So being so involved in all of this, how were you most surprised by the process, from start to finish?
Yeah. Oh gosh. The surprises are endless. If you start with the production side of things, I never knew what an incredible world that could be. I think when you, at least in my experience, when you move to Nashville and you're surrounded by all these incredibly talented people, you tend to find your lane and stick to what you know. And for me, I've really only considered myself to be a singer. I am an average guitar player at best, and I tried dabbling in production and using, things like Logic and, even in video production in the past, and it just didn't make sense to me. So I think I just felt like, oh, that's not my territory. I can't do that. I don't do that. But what I've realized in the process of stepping into it, one is that I have so many people to thank for just giving me those 10,000 hours. Like, the amount of producers that I've sat behind and just watched them work and watched how they, you know, fine tune MIDI, or how they layer, or how they build a rhythm and then add a melody and then track, like the way, just all of that process. And then stepping into Trala, which is a project that I did with some really wonderful female musicians in Nashville. I got to watch my friend Julie Odner-Olive, like, just sit behind those computer screens and go to work and kind of be that mad scientist, you know, and I think sometimes you can't be what you can't see. And so I'm just thankful that I've been able to see so many people in that role, and all of them have been generous to me in the process. And so I've really been excited about this idea of encouraging other songwriters and singers, particularly women, to have more autonomy in the production process, because all you need is a laptop now. Like, you really, you can do it. And yeah, you might only be able to get a song to like 50%. You might only be able to get a demo to 60%. And then you partner with people to take it to the finish line, and people who are better than you and more experienced than you to kind of refine and finalize. But I think it's really important, really, really important, because not only does a lyric communicate something, not only does a melody communicate something, but a sound, like an instrument, a rhythm, like all of these things are part of communicating and birthing the vision that God has given you. And I'm excited to see that progress.
Absolutely. So you pre-released 2 of the tracks so far with Known, Seen, Loved, and Trust. You mentioned that you wrote these songs first for yourself. So I'm interested, now that you've had a little bit of time with other people listening to these songs outside of, you know, your immediate family, is there a lyric or like an overall theme that is impacting the listeners, you know, differently than it impacted you personally writing it?
Oh my goodness, Jesse, coming in hot with the questions. That's a really great one. Yes, there is. And I didn't expect it. I didn't see it coming. The pre-chorus in the song Known, Seen, Loved, it says, I thought I wanted justice. I thought I wanted healing, but what I need most is to be known, seen, loved. I thought I wanted power. I thought I wanted answers. And I might have swapped those lyrics around, but it's like, I thought I wanted justice, power. Those are the things that when I was hurt and when I felt betrayed and when I was angry, those were the things that I thought would make me feel better, or that would give me resolve or give me peace. And I did everything I could to chase after those things. And I got to the end of it and I was just like, this has not solved any of my problems. And it really took me and striving for all of those things, and all of them are important. Like, we want healing for the people that we love. We want justice for those who have been wronged, and for victims. You know, we want power for those who are powerless, and we want to see that distributed equally. It's like, you know, we want to see all of these things, but if you have them and you feel unseen, and you still feel unloved, and you still feel like no one knows or understands who you are, what you're going through, then that none of it matters. It's all ash. So I think in writing that lyric, I was really coming from a very personal experience with all of that. And I was a little bit nervous to put it in a song, and not to put in a song, because again, I was writing it for myself, but I was afraid to share that with people, because I think there's a lot of room for misinterpretation. Like, does this mean you're not an advocate for justice and equal opportunity? Like, no, that's not what it's saying. It's putting the emphasis where it matters. And so the fact that of all the lyrics of the songs released so far, this is the one that people are messaging me the most about. It's the portion that people are saying, oh my goodness, like, I needed to hear that. I'm here in DC, and I just finished leading a worship set and it's a very private, intimate group, but it's a group of people who work in legislature for fighting sex trafficking. And there are some people in this room who are even survivors themselves of the industry. And the person running the retreat asked me to sing Known, Seen, Loved. And I was like, well, I don't even know how to play it. So I had to learn that this morning, and I played it. And after playing it, that was the lyric. The pre-chorus was the lyric that they were like, I'm taking this lyric home. I'm putting it on my fridge because we're all fighting for justice. We're all fighting for power. And it's important. But if these women who have been rescued out of these situations don't know that they're first and foremost known, seen, and loved by God, none of this makes a difference.
Absolutely. That's pretty powerful. That's a great story.
Yeah, sorry, that was a lot for a Wednesday morning.
No, that's good. That's good. So looking at this project then, how are you looking to define success for this? What are you using as your meter to say that this project was successful?
Jessie, oh my gosh, I could tell you really, really felt and thought through these questions. Thank you so much. I think success means something very different to me now than it did when I first started doing music. I never wanted to be a professional musician. I didn't even know that was a real career path. I feel like I kind of accidentally fell into it. And so, being 17 and being in this world of like writing and releasing music, I was taking a lot of cues from the people around me and just being a sponge and learning. And so I think initially my definition of success was taken on by, the metrics of streams and listenership and numbers. And I'm naturally a very competitive person. So I'm like, yes, let's go, like, let's grow, But through the years, through through jumping genres and, just trying to be authentic to the creative ideas that God has given me in the moment, I've realized that success to me is really rooted in deep inner peace and contentment. I wrote a mission statement a while ago. It was actually for a school assignment, and I come back to it often, and there's a part of it that says just that, like, to create from a place of deep inner peace and contentment. And I try to align everything that I do with my top 5 values. I did an exercise where I went from 100 values down to 50, down to 25, down to 5 eventually. And one of those, I think my favorite 2 would be growth and working with open and honest people. And then on top of that, when I'm able to work with people who are open and honest, like yourself, I feel like, oh, I'm winning. I'm absolutely winning.
That's great. So where are you currently drawing inspiration for yourself from?
I think that really changes day to day. Today, I am drawing inspiration from the men and women who are on the front lines of fighting human trafficking in America and overseas. People who've dedicated their lives to creating safe houses for survivors and women who have been rescued from the industry. I've spent the past few days with these people here in DC, and so hearing their stories and hearing about their sacrifice and how they have combated such that's absolutely what's inspiring me right now. I tend to live very much in the present, so whatever is happening right now is what's inspiring me.
That's great. So our time is coming to a close, so I'm going to have one final question for you. What are you most expectant for in the remainder of this year?
That's a hard question for someone who's very much in the present. I think I have vision for the people around me more so than vision for myself. I work with some really wonderful people, and I do life with some amazing friends. We have, my husband and I host something called Slow Church at our house, and we have people from our whole area. Some of them are in music, some of them are not. But we have them come to our house and we just gather and we do life together. And I think COVID and quarantine really showed us the importance of community and being exposed to the needs of our community. So I'm hopeful that by the end of this year, a lot of the struggles that my friends and my coworkers are going through, that they're going to overcome them. I've seen such progress, and I think a lot of that progress comes from just verbalizing and sharing, like, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm struggling with. And when you do that in a trusted space, I think that there's actually opportunity for growth. So I hope that my friends and my community find healing by the end of this year.